You're listening to Packers Talk Network.
Packers Talk.
Welcome to the Packers Weekly Podcast, part of PackersTalk.com network. I'm your host, Miles Teddick, joined by your co-host, Tim Hamilton. We are diehard Packers fans, just love talking about the Pack. We are not getting into all the national sports media distractions and nonsense that they waste their time with. We are diving into the top topics around the Pack every week, sorting through all the games during the season, breaking down those games, and then sorting through all the drama and the rumors and the draft stuff and all the fun stuff of the offseason. If y'all want to support the podcast, please spike that like button for us. And most importantly, jump on over to YouTube, type in Packers Talk Network, and hit that subscribe button on our channel. It takes you a few seconds, very little effort, no money, just a little bit of love for some Packers fans. That's all we're looking for. And come join us on Monday nights at 9:30, streaming live, talking Pack. Because why not, right? Like, tell a friend if you like come and hang out. Think that we're having fun. Let them know. And, tonight we've got a win to talk about. We may not love that win. But we have a win. So here we are. We'll get into that. There's some good takeaways from the Giants game, a win being one of them. And then we've got the NFC North Gauntlet coming up on the horizon here. First off with 9. The all-intimidating Viking, known as 9, coming from the north. We'll see how that goes. But of course, let's take care of some business first. Our show is once again sponsored by Wisconsin's own Ticket King. For over 30 years, Ticket King has been providing Packers tickets to Packers fans, as well as those Bucks tickets, Brewers tickets, all them tickets. Summerfest in the summer. I'm sure there's concert tickets in the winter. Get on there, find them on the web at theticketking.com or visit their locations in Green Bay and Milwaukee. And remember to support all those local businesses, Wisconsin and otherwise. Good evening, Tim. How we doing, sir?
Hey, good evening, Miles. I'm doing good. It's a win. They got to win. That's all I want. We got to win. I don't care what it looks like.
We're munching on the dubs, as Winston likes to do.
Yeah, he didn't get to do that yesterday. Gave the defense plenty of chances to put that game away long before they finally did. But yeah, they got to win. That's all that matters. I don't care what it looked like. They just needed to win a game, and they did. So they're good. And definitely some things they did well. Plenty of things they need to get better at. But it's a win, and now they start the home stretch, really, and a lot of divisional games coming up. It's going to get really tough, but it's nice to see them win a game. Right, like that's all. That's the number one takeaway. Win the game.
We won. Okay.
We won.
I mean, is it frustrating? Yes, for sure. And it's this game. Not all the frustrations are on the offense, right? There's a few we can pass over to the defense. But you won, and I think that we got a dose of perspective on that with the Lions-Eagles matchup yesterday. And, maybe it seemed like an ugly loss and not a whole lot of fun to lose to the Eagles the way that the Packers did. But when you see, probably your top competition in your division, let's be honest, your top competition in your division struggle just as much, if not more. Look, that's the NFL. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's out there playing mistake-free ball. Nobody's out there playing consistent just week in and week out. This is the NFL, man. So, yeah, I think getting the W is, you gotta be happy with it, Yeah. Now, let's we've had a few weeks where we've just been beating up on the team. We've dogged on them a little bit, mad at the offense, ready to fire people. Let's take away some positives, man. What are your positive takeaways from the Giants game?
Jordan Love played great. That's number one. I mean, anybody that looks at that game and just looks at his box score, like, forget about it. Don't listen to that person because he played great. There were 5, 6, maybe 7 drop passes, however you want to count them. Would have changed, his yardage total, his completion percentage, all those box score numbers would have made him look a lot better for some people. But he played really well. Made some beautiful throws under pressure. the offensive line, especially, I think the offensive line got better as the game went on, but there was still too much pressure on him. But he was standing there and making the throws that he needed to. His receivers didn't catch it all that often, but when they did, it was big plays. And Jordan Love was awesome yesterday. That's the number one takeaway is his play. I think, if they're going to go on a run and they're going to find consistency on offense, it has to start with your quarterback. Not that he's been the problem, but he's the one that can raise everybody else around him. Yes. I think the offensive line, it can play better, but I don't expect it to get to a status where we're in December and January and we're like, man, the offensive line's really good. I just think there's obviously the Elton Jenkins injury, but I think they're playing Jordan Morgan out of position, and some guys like Rasheed Walker and Aaron Banks have been underperforming. If they can get a little better, that's great. But I think your quarterback can raise the level of play for your offense and just elevate everybody regardless of, underperformance from the offensive line or from the running game or whatever it may be. And he showed that he's capable of that. He showed he can put the team on his back. And if they catch some passes, it looks a whole lot better. And
true.
That's not his fault, but we want to be positive. I think that's the number one thing for me is how good Jordan Love played yesterday. And also shout out for his, one series for Malik Willis, being able to come in cold like that and take him down the field and get him the touchdown. That's a tough thing to do as a backup quarterback. And we've seen him do it now 2 years in a row, and it's awesome. And, he came in and I was obviously hoping Jordan would be back pretty quickly, and he was, but I wasn't real worried about things. They can, Malik Willis has shown he can do it, and you saw him take off and run with the ball, and they play to his style once he's in there, and it's really cool to see. So shout out Malik Willis, but number one to me, it's the play of Jordan Love yesterday. That was the biggest positive, and if that continues consistently. And I think for the most part this year, he's played really good ball. I know the Eagles game, not so much, but I think he's had a nice year kind of quietly for a quarterback. He gets a lot of people, ripping him when he throws interceptions. But if you look at it, he doesn't really throw that many interceptions. Sometimes they are really ugly when he does throw them. But yeah, he doesn't get enough credit, and he was damn good against the Giants. So yeah, that's the biggest positive takeaway you can get from that game.
No, yeah, I think I'd agree with that. It's hard to argue with, like you're saying, if you're going to go on a run, your quarterback is the one in most cases who needs to rally the troops and lead the way and lead that charge. So him playing well, I think, is very important down the stretch, and this is starting to align up with Toyota-thon, right? So there's something about this time of year that Jordan Love just starts to hit it. But yeah, I agree, man. I'm glad to see him playing well. I don't really care about the context of it, whether it's a 2-8 team or 8-2 team. Doesn't seem to matter all that much. You got the Eagles one week and the Giants the next. You played them similar, so I guess if you're not doing the thing that you did last year where you just beat up on the little guys and then you can't play with the big guys, I guess I'm okay with it, But yeah, to your point, it's got to go through the quarterback, and I think that it looks like it's starting to. So it's very exciting. I agree. I want to give some love to our comment section over here. We got our good friend Chris, the casual in over here. Love you guys, especially you, Tim. Man love, though. It's 2026. Go get over it, haters. And I just want to tell all you haters to get over it, all right? Especially you, Chris,
Thanks.
hating on me over here. My goodness, man. Can't share any love with me. It's only for Tim.
Spread it around. And I appreciate it. Thank you. Love you too. But, it's still 2025 for a little while longer, right? Not quite 2026.
It feels like we're already in 2026.
I guess Chris is on the 2026.
He's ahead of us. Hey, Chris, if you're already up there, man, let us know if the Packers have made the Super Bowl. But you got to keep us informed on the future here. So, but I just to respond to your other, I'm not ignoring your comment. Just try, you got to give me some time, man. We're trying to talk Pack here. And then we of course have our Showers joining us. Said we played two corners all game. We are so done. when one of our guys gets hurt, our coaching is so poor. I'm not happy about our cornerback situation. I'll give you that, especially because one of them is playing receiver right now, which I'm just kind of confused by. We'll just call it that. But yeah, with you there. I'm with you, man.
Our shower is downer tonight.
Yeah, well, look, that's why I say we gotta emphasize the positive takeaways here, because I think it's easy to be down on this game, right? It's the Giants. You want to beat up on them. You wanted it to look more like what's happening right now with the Cowboys beating up on the Raiders, right? You just want to look that much better than them, and you didn't. Yeah. And fine, it is what it is. All that matters is winning. So you did that. I think at the end of the day. Actually, here we go. This is kind of a rope-a-dope positive takeaway, and Chris the Casual In just beat me to it. Morgan is a left tackle only, right, guys? I think your positive takeaway from this game is Morgan is not a guard. Can we please let's just drop that. Let's leave him out of the equation. Let him play tackle, left tackle probably. What I saw, Morgan's not a guard. He's just not a guard. It's different movements, different things to be good at. He's not a guard. Let him be good at tackle. I'm with you on that, Chris. And I think that is a takeaway that's going to come out of the film, at least as long as they're watching the film. We assume they're watching the film and practicing. Sometimes I wonder. But, I mean, I think you're learning more about your O-line. Like you mentioned, they got better as the game went on. And you made the plays you needed to when you needed to. Christian Watson making plays when you needed him to. At the end of the game, Micah Parsons making the play when you needed him to. Those are the things that weren't happening last season. Last season when we're talking about, and I kind of had fun being the counter perspective about the lack of a pass rush. No pass rush. Well, we're 6th in the league in pass rush, though. Well, yeah, it didn't matter because they weren't doing it when it mattered. And that was the biggest problem, I think, with last season. They were able to make plays when it didn't matter. So that's great. But when it does matter, you can't make plays. The rest doesn't matter. So, yeah, that's what my takeaway is here is they're making plays when it matters, man. And that's a big deal. That's an attitude thing. That's an effort thing. That's something that's very difficult, I think, to coach. That's an awareness thing, I think, on the player side of things that even, the most aware player sometimes is just not going to be able to grab that extra yard that they needed to for the first down because they thought they were far enough. There's stuff like that where awareness is important. And I think that there's a lot of these players on this Packers roster still that have solid awareness. Evan Williams, maybe not Isaiah McDuffie, maybe not him, but just a casual poke there. But yeah, I mean, there were some good plays made. There was definitely some stuff you want back, but I think the other good thing is it looks like Josh Jacobs' injury is not too severe. Looks like they will he might have a shot to play this week. Hopefully that's a good sign either way, right? Like maybe if he can play this week, you say, maybe not. Like let's let him sit, but we'll leave that up to them.
That's great, and thank God it's not a long-term injury, and maybe he plays this week. We'll see. I kind of doubt it, but then the concerning part is they turn around and play on Thursday for Thanksgiving. Like, does he miss both those games? Or maybe he's able to miss the Vikings, but then be ready to go against the Lions. So we'll see. But I just think it's positive that they won a game after how they looked offensively against Carolina and Philadelphia. Like, just take the win and enjoy it. Like, I know the Giants aren't a good team and they were beat up and they just fired their coach. Like, I get that. And, of course, you want to beat them by 40 points. Doesn't happen a whole lot around the NFL, right? Blowouts, even against bad teams. So, like, just take the win, enjoy it for this week. There were positive signs. Yes, there's plenty of things they can still get better at, but also realize, like, if they just do one of the simplest things, catch the football on either offense or defense, they win this game going away comfortably. Just catch a few of those passes on offense or catch a couple of those interceptions that were right there for you on defense, and they probably win comfortably, and it's a different discussion. That's one of the simplest things that you can fix is just catch the ball. And unfortunately, it looks like the drops are back because we saw some against the Eagles and we saw a bunch of them against the Giants. Let's hope that was just a temporary thing and that can get cleaned up against the Vikings. But yeah, there's a lot they need to get better at. There's questions about how they're using certain people. You mentioned Jordan Morgan. I don't think he's a guard either. I think he needs to be at left tackle, but I think with the injury to Elk Jenkins, it kind of complicates things because they're probably not comfortable putting Kennard at guard. Belton hasn't played guard yet. Like through the preseason, he was just a tackle. Now maybe behind the scenes they're practicing him at guard, but we don't know that. And to just throw him out there where he's never played it, I don't know. I don't know how that would go. So I think we're kind of stuck with Jordan Morgan at guard now. But I agree, like he should be a left tackle. So yeah, there's questionable things about how they're using people, and we'll get to the defense. I have some concerns there, especially about the pass rush, other than Micah Parsons. But just be happy they won a game. It's nice to get a win. They needed a win anyway; they could get it, and they got it. And now you're on to the Vikings, and you hope you can keep improving each week. And I see some people saying stuff about the coaching yesterday. I really didn't have a problem on, at least offensively. I think there's things that actually I didn't like defensively that they did. But I thought LaFleur was fine. I thought he kind of changed some things up, and he was calling some first and second down runs in situations where previous weeks they were running plays. So I think he did some things differently. And again, I think it would have looked better if his receivers could just catch the ball. Literally, like the first point of your job description is catch the ball. It would look a lot better. So I think LaFleur was fine against the Giants. So just enjoy the win. It's nice to win a game, and yeah, there's plenty of things you can complain about and want to see better, but just appreciate that they win a game, and hope that they can start cleaning up those mistakes with the Vikings coming up.
Yeah, no, and when you do think through all the different plays that were missed, and you even add some of those into the equation, it's a different game. And not that we need moral victories or anything like that, but it really does show you how much of a game of inches it is, that just even a few plays are the difference between a close game and a not close game. And really, I think what's important this time of the season is seeing the ability to make those plays, right? So are those guys in position to make plays on the defense specifically? Yeah, they were in position to make those interceptions. I mean, Bullard right there. If McDuffie doesn't, drill him, he's got a pick. So I think that's a really important thing. These guys are going to come up with the catches eventually. They'll emphasize it. They'll get on the jugs machine, all of that. But them being in position the way that they were, I think is the positive takeaway. That's where you look at that, you give them a plus on the film and go, good, do this again next time. You'll probably have a takeaway. And that's what you want to see. If you see guys out of position, and that's why this game is close, because it's just loaded with mistakes, and it's just like you're barely keeping up, and you're like, why can't we keep up with this, poor excuse of an offense? That's a whole different thing. No, so that's where I look at that and I go, context of the game definitely matters. You don't need to necessarily put too much credit on those plays, like, oh man, we could have crushed them, like that matters. But if you're looking for that big victory over a bad team, it was right there. It was very, very close. It was right there. And the mistakes that were made are not mistakes that you need to be too pissed about. Now, the drops, man, if that doesn't get fixed, then, rage about it. But we're going to get back into the same conversation about coaching. We just don't need to go back there. The drops got to get fixed on the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball, you know what? If you're dropping interceptions, the receivers are not catching the ball. Your job is done. Yeah, I want to see turnovers. If you're in position that much that you've dropped 4 interceptions, turnovers are coming. They're coming. Next time you're going to catch 2 interceptions, whatever. On the offensive side of the ball, though, you got to figure out who your hands are. I don't know why Matthew Golden's in jail. I don't know what crime he committed. Apparently, he has the strongest hands on the team. That's what we were told in training camp. I've seen it, maybe not super definitively, but we've seen him play some strong hands catches. Like, if you're having a problem dropping balls, get the guy involved who doesn't drop balls.
Well, I think he was playing hurt yesterday, so he didn't play as much as
fair enough.
So I think that's part of it. No, I get it. And it's, Romeo Dobbs, like you're not throwing, it's not a rookie dropping passes. And you could see there, the one catch coming across the middle, like he was wide open and he took his eye. hit his hands. He was already looking away from it. Like, I know everybody wants to blame the coaches and bring it back to the coaches, but you are an NFL wide receiver. You should be able to catch a football. Like, that's number one. And none of us know how many passes they're catching or not catching in practice or whatever it is, but that is that's your job description. Catch the football. At some point, the players have to have responsibility for their performance. And I think a lot of the issues in the Eagles game, there were plays to be made and they didn't make them. And there were drop passes and there were, guys not lining up in the right spot. Against the Giants, it was to drop passes. Catch the football.
Yeah.
If you want to blame coaches and point fingers at coaches, okay, but like in that situation, is the coach supposed to walk out there and hold your hand for you and help you catch the pass? Like,
well,
you're making a lot of money. You've been catching passes your whole career. Catch the ball and don't are they catching enough in practice? I don't know. None of us know. We can't assume that they're not or they are or whatever. But at some point, you've been catching passes your whole life. You're in the NFL. Catch the football. Period. Like, I don't have a whole lot of coach blame on that.
The reason I point back to the coaches on that is not because, hey, they got to get out there and catch it for them. It's more of a philosophical thing. And this is where, our Shower's chiming in. He says our coaching is soft, no accountability. It's the no accountability part. Man, I'll tell you, like, there's some teams that they operate like Bill Belichick. If you drop that ball, you're out, dude. Like, you're out. I don't care if you're Romeo Dobbs. You drop the ball, you're sitting down. And it's not that you need to do that all. Like, if you have to do that all the time, that's not good, and that'll play itself out. But the point is knowing that and having more of an emphasis on that and just a culture of we don't drop the ball. The Patriots was we don't fumble the ball, right? If you fumble the ball, it doesn't matter if you're a Hall of Fame running back, you're coming out. And it's not permanently. It's not like a permanent benching, but you sit down for a minute. Like, you screwed up, go and marinate in it, right? Like, they don't do that. And I think that's part of it where, the coaching philosophy, it's easy to say they're soft, but I think the real key is no accountability. It doesn't seem like there's accountability. It doesn't seem like anybody has any sort of fear of even criticism for dropping balls. Like, it seems like there's like some psychological delicate treatment going on. I don't know that. I say it seems is a very important term, right? That's what it seems like because of it's such a repeated issue, and it's just why is it here? Like, why is this not contagious somewhere else? I think it's a philosophical thing that you have to, and you can't fix it now. Like, you got to go back to training camp, and it's got to be really in the off season. It's got to be beat into you that you're not going to drop a ball. It's just not going to happen. And when it does, like, damn, dude, fix that. Don't ever let that happen again. And it just doesn't seem like that's the mentality. It seems like, oh, you dropped it. All right, it's cool. Just move on.
I'll just say that we didn't talk about drop passes at all until last week against the Eagles.
I mean, we talked about it a lot last season.
But they had cleaned them up this year until last week. And if you start benching guys, like, honestly, like, you're going to run out of guys with how many drop passes there were.
Well, but that's what I mean is it's not a permanent thing. But you put somebody on the bench, and the next guy drops the ball. All right, well, get Roman back on. You get on the bench now. Like, there's got to eventually there's a stopgap to that. Eventually, you get to a Matthew Golden. It's like, oh, he's got good hands. He's not dropping balls. So he's not going to come out of the game. And I'm oversimplifying. I am oversimplifying, but that's the general point I'm trying to make.
Okay, I just like I get it, and I get when guys make constant mistakes, you want to bench them. I'm not benching Romeo Dobbs because he dropped 2 passes yesterday. It's really frustrating, but like, he's not doing stupid stuff. Yeah, he's got to catch the ball. And if he comes out against the Vikings, starts dropping passes again, and it's a continual thing with him, then yeah, I would say you got to start throwing the ball somewhere else or using somebody else. I'm on board with that. But like, to be that, I don't know. You start sitting guys down and you run out of guys. And Matthew Golden was in and out of the game yesterday, playing injured. Like, he's had issues with running routes. Like, you want to put him in there and just say, yeah, Jordan, we're going to bench Romeo, who you're comfortable throwing to, and put Golden in there, playing injured, and you're not quite comfortable yet throwing to because you don't know where he's going to be. That affects everything else. So my response to that would kind of be like, okay, if they're making that mistake, like let's run the offense more through the guys that aren't making those mistakes, like Christian Watson. He should be seeing more targets. And that was one of the things you and I talked about last week was like, why is he getting the same amount of targets as Bo Melton in the Eagles game or in any game ever? So we did see him make plays yesterday with both quarterbacks. They got to target him more. Like he needs to be more of that big piece of the offense. And I think if they can get Golden healthy and playing better, like you need to see more Golden and more Watson. And then in key situations is where Dobbs, where it's third down, red zone, that kind of stuff where where Jordan seems to look for him more. But Watson needs to be more heavily involved. And hopefully they're going to be getting Jaden Reed back soon. It sounds like he actually might return to practice this week. Maybe we see him on Thanksgiving, probably more likely the game after Thanksgiving. That's going to help a lot too. And I think like this offense needs to be. You lost Tucker Kraft. You basically have nothing at tight end now. We're going to talk about Musgrave at some point because he's just driving me nuts. You got to focus on your receiver. Like it's a wide receiver offense now. Like forget about your tight ends. You're not running the ball well right now. Hopefully that can change at some point. And I'm not giving up on Josh Jacobs or the running game necessarily, but the offense needs to run through Jordan Love and then Christian Watson and whatever other receiver is producing. And that needs to be the focus. Like, yeah, you still want to be able to run the ball and have that threat, but it just hasn't been there this year. So run it through your quarterback. Like put the ball in his hands and see, let him take you as far as he can take you. Because that's what has consistently worked this year. Not the running game, not spreading it, trying to spread it around the different receivers. Like you're out. You don't have Kraft. You don't have Reed right now. Some guys are dropping passes. Like Williams is banged up. Golden's banged up. Lake Heath, whatever that situation was on Sunday where he got himself scratched and sent home. Like run it through the guys who are producing for you, which right now is Christian Watson.
Yeah, I mean, which speaking of our showers, you got a little got to give Watson his credit, man. It's a good receiver, not made of glass. Anyway, yeah, I think you got to run it through who's working. And right now, that's kind of the point I was making. And benching sounds harsh and permanent, but it's more of like, okay, Rome just like, dude, I don't know why you dropped that ball. Get your head right. You're going to take a series off. And maybe that's 3 plays, whatever. Or you're starting on the bench in this next series and we're going to get some reps to the next guy. And then you'll get back in. But it doesn't feel like there's any of that. It doesn't feel like there's any of this like course correction. It's just like, no, let's stick with them through it. And part of the evidence is Bo Melton get reps at receiver again. Dadgummit. This guy makes 3 critical mistakes in a position he doesn't play anymore in a very important game. And then he's back at that position again the next week, getting critical touches. If I'm Malik Heath, I'm pissed too, man. I don't understand that. I don't understand the whole situation with Bo Melton. Like, let's move him to cornerback just so we can play him at receiver without any practice. That's just boneheaded BS.
Well, I think that's an injury thing too, an availability thing. Like Savion Williams is walking around with
Bo Melton on the field when Christian Watson isn't.
That I'm fine with criticizing. But I think why they're using him more at receiver is Golden was hurt last week and was in and out of the game yesterday. Savion Williams was in a walking boot coming into the stadium yesterday, and apparently he's been wearing a walking boot for weeks now.
He made a great catch, though.
He did, and they just use him as a gadget guy. That's an issue.
But this is what I'm talking about. You got Watson, you got Williams, you got Dobbs. Why is Bo Melton on the field at receiver? And you had Malik Heath, you scratched him.
Wow,
because he's probably pissed that Bo Melton was on the field when he wasn't.
We don't know that. Maybe Malik Heath was late to meetings. We saw one of Buffalo's receivers got scratched because he was late to meetings. We don't know the situation. Why? Like you're Malik
because
Heath.
Bo Melton should be playing receiver.
You're Malik Heath. You should be happy he's on the roster to begin with. But we don't know the situation. Maybe he was late to meetings. Maybe he did something behind this. Like we don't know if it's because he's pissed off because of Bo Melton. Like let's not go that far. If he's late, then he should be scratched. I think the two Cowboys
why is it more
tonight
valid
didn't
to
start
assume
the
he was
game.
late to a meeting than it is to assume
I'm
that
not
he's pissed
saying-
about not getting playing time?
But we shouldn't assume either way. I'm just saying maybe he was late. Maybe he did something
Well,
disciplinary.
maybe he's mad about not getting playing time.
Maybe he's mad about not getting playing time. And to that, I would say, so what? Like, I don't want to hear it from Malik Heath. Like, if you're mad because Bo Melton's not there, maybe, okay. But, like, the other guy should be playing ahead of Malik Heath, period. And I'll point out, Luke Musgrave only got 2 snaps in the second half of yesterday. So apparently they did bench somebody.
Well, there's some accountability. That's true.
So
there we go.
They at least did that. And I get what you're saying. Like, I'm fully in agreement. I did not understand the Bo Melton usage against the Eagles. Now, I think he was only on the field for 1 or 2 snaps against the Giants, so I can't complain about that.
It's just like the decision making that went into him being on the field against the Eagles, and then again against the Giants. It's like, dude, you were on you made 3 critical mistakes at a position you don't play anymore. Why is the answer, hey, let's try again?
Because I think
guys,
he's practicing at both positions, or he's definitely practicing at receiver because he was practicing there last week. But
he made an alignment mistake that negated a very important catch. So I mean, like that's just sort of like a duh sort of moment. Like, oh, you mean the guy that hasn't been practicing this position made an alignment mistake? Well, I'll be darned. Those are the things where it's like, what is the decision making that goes into that? I'm not really here to beat up on Bo Melton as much as I am as like, how did y'all come to that conclusion? Like, why is that the guy that you decided should be on the field right now? That's what I want to know.
I think they ran out of healthy receivers and they didn't trust some of the ones they had out there. And they overthought it because they know that he was a guy they liked in the past at receiver. Would I have done that? Absolutely not. I'm just trying to give you like what maybe they're thinking. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't put him out there at all. But I think that's what they're thinking. And I know we're getting like these Malik Heath, like people in the comments, like you guys are talking about Malik Heath like he's Jerry friggin' Rice. Like he's a nice number 5 receiver. Like to call him like number 2 or number 3, get the hell out of here.
Pretty good, man. I mean, like, I'm not saying he's like receiver 1, but like he's a very strong blocker, which is important to the scheme.
On the Packers, on a team that doesn't even have a number 1 receiver.
Right, but he's not the one that got moved to corner, right? Like somebody else got moved to corner.
I'm not comparing this to Bo Melton. I'm just saying people are freaking out about how they're using Malik Heath. Like we don't know why he got suspended. Did he do something? I'm going to assume he did something, or else they wouldn't have like, hey, we're not even bringing him to New York. We don't know what that is. Maybe that'll come out later. If it does, we can have that discussion and whatever. But like for people to like talk this guy up like he's something, like he's a nice number 5 receiver. Does he do a good job when he's in there? Sometimes. Other times, he doesn't do much. He blocks. That's great. Like I'm not saying he's bad, but he is what he is. Like this is 3 years with him. He's not. I don't want him on the field over Watson or Dobbs or Golden or Jaden Reed when he's out there. Like so, he's your 5th receiver.
Right, but I think again that's where it gets into like, okay, so the coaching staff decided that they had to dip into the cornerback room.
I'm not
to
saying
get a receiver on the field. No, I think that's what the frustration is. It's not that Malik Heath is like a potential all-pro receiver here. I'm not trying to say that. But I do think that there's like some seriously flawed logic that went into him not being on the field and Bo Melton being on the field. And I think that's the real crux of the issue is you're looking at this going, I mean, Malik Heath's not a bad receiver, right? Like if we just go based on what our eyes have told us, we've seen some good football out of Malik Heath. We like his blocking. He's a bully. He's a big guy. He's made some good catches. He really has. He made like some impressive catches. Like he's not receiver 1. Not making the argument that he's receiver 1. But when I look at that guy and I go, he's not a bad receiver. But then I see that you're not putting him on the field. I don't understand it. That's what I don't. But then I analyze the other logic that they've put out there on display for us. And I go, there's a lot of weird decisions being made. I could see why a guy would be frustrated. But we're getting wrapped around the axle. I don't want to go too far around this. It is a weird thing. The Bo Melton thing is weird to me. If he's a receiver, why'd you put him at corner? And if he's better than Malik Heath, why is Malik Heath still on the roster? And then you got your practice squad guys at receiver. If it's a healthy thing, like there's some guys that could probably use a shot, but the decision making. If I can just put it all in a box, it's the decision making that has me so frustrated right now. And it's just decision making all across the board, and it's like what we were talking about with Jordan Morgan. We look at this and we go, gosh, why is he playing guard? And there's just all these questions that we have, like, why is this? Why is that? Why are we predictable? Why is it run pass? Like there's a lot of questions. So when the summation of those questions for me is, I'm not really satisfied with the coaching. So putting all of that in a box, because we know I'm not satisfied with the coaching. To be clear, I'm being consistent. We've won the game. I'm not being quiet. Okay, I'm not going away about my coaching criticisms just because they won. So just want to be consistent with my criticisms there, because I know it was fun for people to say, oh, the LaFleur critics are awfully quiet on Twitter this morning. I'm not. But I don't know. Like, I guess what it is, Tim? I think I get tired of giving the coaches the benefit of the doubt. And I think that's what we're kind of compelled to do. Right. I think that, you want to give coaches the benefit of the doubt, one, because you don't know enough to make a real good judgment on anything about what they do. So we want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But in this, with all of these questions, I get kind of tired of it. I get kind of tired of giving the benefit of the doubt. And it's easier to make the assumption that they're not very good. The coaches aren't very good, and I think Rich Bisaccia is another one. You can see what flawed leadership looks like. It's not good, man. Like, you're years into a system with this guy who's supposed to be a great leader, and the only good part of your special teams unit is the punter. That's it. And I don't think I'm giving Richie B credit for that. I think he just found a talented punter. So I don't know. That's where I come from. It's like wanting to criticize the coaches, because I get sick of giving them the benefit of the doubt when there's so many questions.
Okay. I have a lot of problems with how they're using people and the coaching too. I think the players, everybody's so quick to like blame all the coaches. Like, at some point, the players have to make the plays that are there. Go back and watch the Eagles game. There were plays that were there, and they didn't make them.
For sure. Yes. The players missed plays in the Eagles game. And in the Giants game.
Blame that. And to be clear, I would never play Bo Melton over Malik Heath or any of the other receivers. I'm just trying to say, like, what their thinking may be about why they did it. And I'm also saying, like, Malik Heath, he's fine as your number 5 receiver. But I don't want, like, he's fine. Like, he's a fine receiver. But I sure as hell don't want him out there above, like, 3 or 4 other guys at receiver.
Oh, for sure. Well, so that's how I feel about Bo Melton, too.
Right. And it's like, that's all my point was. Yeah, I'm frustrated with coaching, and I'm frustrated with how they use players in certain situations. And I agree about the Jordan Morgan thing. Like, I thought he looked his best in 2 years that he's been here, when he was playing left tackle in preseason when Rasheed Walker was out. And then the season started, and he was back at right guard. And it didn't make sense then. He hasn't played well there. But that's where they think right now he helps them best at. And that they probably just don't have another guy that they're comfortable with putting that right guard. That's what they're thinking is. Do I agree with it? No, I think ultimately his best position is left tackle, but they're not going to play him there right now.
I'm way more sympathetic to that than I am to the whole Bo Melton thing. Like, I think you're absolutely right as far as the right guard situations go.
I believe Bo Melton played 2 snaps on offense yesterday. Is that 2 snaps too many? Sure, but it's a lot less than the Eagles game. And I think if Matthew Golden gets his shoulder right, Savion's with his foot or his ankle, Jaden Reed's real close to coming back, you're not going to see Bo Melton on offense. He's just a special teams guy, basically. So, like, the Eagles game, we talked about it last week. We don't need to get it, and we're talking about it tonight. I don't get it. I'll never understand why he was out there and Christian Watson wasn't on 4th down. I don't get all his usage in that game. I don't understand it. But I think that was a 1-week thing. Now, if they run into more injuries, you're going to see him on offense because he was a wide receiver. So that's that. Like, but at some point, I think it falls on the players. And there's 2, like, that I really want to point out from this Giants game, and it's not just the Giants game, it's like all year, that need to pick it up. And frankly, like, one of them, I'm done with them. And that's Luke Musgrave. he's just not it, man. Like, he had a big opportunity here with Tucker Kraft. He ain't getting it done. This is his third year, and I know he's had injuries, and that's held him back. But when he's had opportunities, he hasn't taken advantage. And I think this is it. And maybe there's finally seeing that, because as far as snaps goes, he was number 3 tight end against the Giants, played 2 snaps in the second half. And I think that's where it's headed. Like, you don't really have a threat there to catch the ball at tight end with Fitzpatrick and Wiley. So you're going to be using those guys as blockers and just as pieces on your offense, like check down guys, whatever. That's more reliability than you're going to get from Musgrave. He doesn't catch the ball. When he does, he goes right down. He can't break a tackle. He can't block. And I know he's got like athletic ability and speed, we think, and he can stretch a defense, but when was the last time he did that? Like, what is he doing? Like, at some point, if
get me talking about the coaches again, Tim, don't do that, man.
That's not the coaches. Like, he's out there running. When he's out there, he's running the routes. If he's not,
well, to be fair, I haven't watched him as much, so I can't really go at that as hard as I'd like to. But I mean, I'd like to believe that they're just not scheming him as well. They're not using him. I mean, honestly, just use him as bait. Use him as a decoy. Get
when
that guy.
The player's fault, and he's just not a good player. Like,
well,
he's not good. If he goes
I'm just offering kind of a tongue-in-cheek counter perspective.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not here to defend Musgrave. Musgrave's not playing well, man. He's not good. He's got a 28.4 PFF rating. Not that we put all the stock in that, but when you got a 28, you bad. You did bad. They don't do that by accident.
Right, and they've been trying to use him for 3 years as like that field stretching down the seam tight end. He just doesn't get it done. So it was nice to finally see him have his snaps reduced, because he's just unreliable. And you got to play the other guys, and they finally did yesterday. And the other one he's not in the same boat as Luke Musgrave, but it's something to really keep an eye on. It's Rashawn Gary. Like, dude ain't producing.
What's going on there?
I don't get it. Like, and you can look at all their pass rushers. I know Van Ness is hurt, and maybe he'll come back and pick up where he left off. But like, other than Micah Parsons, they don't have a pass rush. And that's like Devontae Wyatt. Same thing happened last year. He started great, got hurt, came back, and he was quiet. It's happening again. For Gary, I don't get it. It seems like he's seeing a lot better matchups, a lot more one-on-ones, because Parsons is getting all the attention. He's just not winning. Like, early in the year, it seemed like he was playing pretty good, but it really has dropped off. And the other thing, people are seeing this as well, but it's really been going on his whole career. It's just how many plays he's not on the field for. Like, Kingsley and Mbari played one more snap than him yesterday. Like, in a game that was competitive for 4 quarters. Like, why is he coming out of the game so often? I don't get it. And like, early in the year, you saw Parsons, but that was because they were getting Parsons ramped up. He hadn't practiced, he had a back injury, and now he's playing 80-some% of the snaps. And Gary's still playing whatever it is, 50-some, or maybe he's in the low 60s now. But that's kind of how he's been throughout his career. And I don't get it. And I thought maybe like, okay, different defensive line coach this year, they're stopped so many rotation, and it's not. So it's maybe a Gary thing. Like, does he just get gassed after 2 or 3 snaps in a row? And he seems like he's in really good shape. I don't get it. Why is he coming out so much? Why are there snaps where there should not be any snaps where both Parsons and Gary are not on the field right now? Right? Like, we don't need to see Van Ness or Enigbari and Sorrell. Like, at least one of them should be on the field every snap. I don't get it. He's not producing. He's not playing that much. Like, it's weird. And they're paying him a lot of money to be now your number 2 rusher. And as your number 2 rusher with better matchups, you're not producing. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on, but that's concerning. But like I said, like, maybe Van Ness is back this week, and that helps boost the pass rush. But none of those guys are producing other than Parsons.
Well, and I think that there was a small crowd trying to chirp that Parsons isn't making the impact. He's not worth the trade and all this. And it's like, you guys are not watching the tape. That guy is the force on the defense. Yeah. If Parsons wasn't part of this group, it wouldn't be good. This would be ugly, man. Like, we were talking most of the offseason about the pass rush. Pass rush was criticized last season. Parsons was the big move that was made, right? Like, They drafted Sorrell. Okay, 4th rounder. Like, he's not bad. He played 12 snaps yesterday. So that's not somebody who's coming to save the day. You know, you got LVN and you got Gary. Well, up to this point, pre Micah Parsons, they haven't lived up to what you wanted them to. And then, so now you got Parsons in there, and we start the season off, and those two start looking good. It's like, well, no kidding, they start looking good. The defense has to, or the offense has to focus all their energy on this one guy who's just a complete wrecking ball. And for the most part, offenses have kept him relatively contained. But yeah, you should feast on the other side of that guy. You know, like, come on. The offense has to give up a lot to protect against him. You got to win. You got to win those. And Rashawn Gary's got, like, I think 7.5 sacks or something this year. He's gotten some sacks. And he's had some good games. But yeah, here lately you're kind of looking around going, where is this guy? And no, LVN's hurt. We'll see him come back. But you don't. Here's what you don't want. You don't want everything reliant on one guy, because you lose the one guy and all of a sudden everybody else just sucks. That's not good. That's not good at all. But that's kind of like, it's what we're starting to smell a little bit, right? Like, we're starting to sniff this out. Like, hey, so you're only good when the guy across from you is like the best in the league? I mean, okay. Like, that's not good. Now, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. There was injuries that came out last year. Like, well, I was playing through this. I was playing through that fine. Maybe that's what's happening with Gary. He's got voted a captain. It's not like he's a bum. Like, you don't get voted a captain by your teammates if you're a bum or if you're a fraud. I mean, the guy, I just, you don't know what's going on. So, we'll see. But I'd like to believe that when you get your pieces back in there, you get LVN in there, and you get, just another game down the road, you get against a familiar opponent in the Vikings, all of that adds up to, these guys all coming alive. But it's concerning. It's definitely concerning, man. Yeah. I don't like it. It smells bad.
No, it's a bad trend. And they look so good early in the year. Parsons was great. Of course, he was taking all the attention, which was helping those guys tremendously. But they look good. Wyatt and Brooks and Gary and Van Ness and Igbare. And now it's like, I'm not seeing really anyone other than Parsons that's getting there or getting close. I know his Parsons sack numbers aren't high or anything, but he's been damn good. And the amount of attention he draws, they don't call holding penalties. There were a few yesterday that he probably should have had called. But he's been really good. Now it's like he's getting all this attention. He's forcing these pressures, but there's nobody there to help him out. I don't know what's going on. And, if Van Ness comes back and can pick up where he lets off, that's great. But he's been out for several games now, so it's probably going to take him some time. You need more from Gary. You need more from Devontae Wyatt. Like, he's disappeared too since he got healthy, since he came back. So yeah, that's concerning trend. But I guess what we saw early in the year, you have the hope that one or two of those guys can pick it up and get back to that level and help out Parsons. But right now, it's like, it seems like if Parsons not getting there, nobody is. Which
yeah,
is, I know.
I was just gonna put up this comment from Chris, the casual in over here. He says, "You are exactly right, Tim. But MLF believes in the hockey line edge rushers, so they'll never get into a groove."
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, all right, if Gary's not hurt, maybe they're just doing this rotational thing, thinking that they're better off, being fresh when they're in 55, 60% of the snaps. But I'd only entertain that to the extent that LVN is healthy, right? Like, once LVN's healthy, no, I don't want Gary splitting reps with Igbare. Inagbare's not bad, but I want one guy on the field 75% of the time. I want the other guy on the field 25% of the time, not 50-50. And maybe more than that. Maybe we're talking 80-20. Kind of depends on the flow of the game. But yeah, like, I don't like if they're just like living by the hockey line routine, which I totally believe could be possible. I don't like that at all. You got to get your guys playing.
I think that was more of previous regimes, whether it was Joe Barry or the defensive line coach, where they did that more. I'm not seeing it as much this year. I think it's a Gary thing. Like, you can see him put his hand up and like, or tap his helmet and head right to the sideline. Like, he's asking to come out more so than they're forcing him out, because like Parsons is playing over 80%, I believe. Like, so he's not coming out. And in a lot of these games this year, they've been playing 2 or 3 defensive tackles a ton. And like you've seen games where Brinson barely plays or Stackhouse barely plays. So I think the hockey line change, that was a criticism I've had for years. I think it's less so this year. I think it's more just like, that's a Rashawn Gary thing. And
I hope not.
I don't get it. He needs to be on the field more. And, when they get Van Ness back, he can take more breathers, I guess. But why does he need more breathers? Like,
well, yeah,
he should get them, right? And the other thing I was going to bring up too is like, you're not getting pressure other than Parsons. It's time. And I was thinking this yesterday. Like, Hafley needs to start bringing some of the pressures that he was using last year, because they didn't have a pass rush last year, but he was at least creative and blitzing more. And that was at times getting home. Like, he's not doing it as much this year. I don't know if he's so like, well, I got Micah Parsons, he'll get there eventually. Like, there were times yesterday I was like, just come after Winston, like, just speed him up. Like, you're making it too easy. He needs to get more creative in how he's using his guys. One of those guys is Adrian Cooper, who I'm not gonna like say he's having a bad year or anything like that, because I don't think he hasn't been bad, but like, we just haven't seen the splash plays from him that we saw last year. Like, he was making tackles for losses, he was getting sacks. Like, we haven't seen him, and I think a lot of it, it's just they haven't been as creative with how they've used him this year. They haven't blitzed him as much, it seems like. And they may have to start getting back to that if they can't get home, or if they're only getting home with Parsons. So that's a Hafley thing. That's a scheme thing. Like, I think he's going to have to really look into starting to use some of the pressures he was using last year more frequently.
Well, and he talked a little bit about that in the offseason, because I think he was asked about, did you try to dial up more pressures? Or he answered it basically like on a game by game basis, that you're like, well, each game you're trying to create new ways of making pressures and all that kind of stuff. And I think he said manufacturing pressure or something like that. And I think it can probably get easy to say, okay, well, we got Micah Parsons, we've got Rashawn Gary, we got LVN, we got Devontae Wyatt, we got these guys. We're going to get home with 4. We're just going to rush 4, take that luxury, and then, we're going to apply the benefits to the back end, right? And that way we'll be in better coverage and make up for our not good corners. But okay, but not all the time. Like, come on, man. Come on. Like you're saying, force a guy into a decision before he wants to be, like stuff like that. Get them uncomfortable, instead of thinking about how you can keep them from having the most opportunity to beat you. Just force them to do something before they want to, force them into mistakes by making decisions they aren't ready to make, and it just doesn't seem like that's part of Hafley's game. Got to respect that. But at the same time, it's like, well, if you're going to get pressure, man, and Micah Parsons gets there eventually, but once, twice, maybe 3 times in a great game, well, you've got 60, 70 snaps. Like, you need more than that. You need more than the one guy to impact all that. So I'm with you, man. I want to see more pressures manufactured, figured out, even if it's just simulated pressure. Make these guys guess, or like confuse them. It just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of that going on.
It's what they were doing last year, and it was successful at times for them. So bring it back. I think you got to do more of it until you show that you can get there with 4 guys, which they were doing early, but they're not doing now. So until you can, bring back those pressures, or simulated pressures, like you were saying.
Yeah. So, that's what it's going to take to beat the NFC North, because that's what's coming up. All right. We got the Vikings. We got the Lions. We got the Bears. Oh, my. I can't wait. This is a fun stretch of football. And I like that it starts with 9. I'm very excited about this whole 9 thing. We're going to get to learn a lot about the Packers over the next 3 weeks. We get to learn who they are over the next 3 weeks, I think. I'm not pessimistic about that, especially after watching the Lions struggle with the Eagles. I think you're in good position there. You know, the Bears, sure, they're 7-3, but I think we're all in on the joke, right? Like their schedule hadn't been real. So I don't take them as a bad team, but I don't take them as a 7-3 team either. I think you're set up here. If you go 3-0 here, like, okay, like now you've got real momentum. Now you're talking like that. And I think that's realistic. Getting to start with the Vikings. Is it in Minnesota or are they back at Lambeau?
They're at Lambeau.
Okay, so back at Lambeau. Love that. Get your feet back on the ground. Yeah, I think this is a real chance to build some momentum. Start that, not like we're gonna run the table kind of stuff. I don't. Those are organic moments that have to happen organically. But I think what you always want as a team is the momentum going into the playoffs, right? Like if you had a bumpy stretch in October, whatever, you want that 4 or 5 game win streak going into the playoffs. Getting a 3-0 right here, I think that sets you up massively going into the end of the season. It's going to take the air out of the rest of the NFC North. So this next 3 slate of games is really, really important. And I think we are going to learn. I don't think we come out of these games going, I don't know who these Packers are. One day you get this, one day you get that. I think because these are familiar opponents. And I will say, I think LaFleur does better against more familiar opponents, with the exception of Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh's, we're just going to stuff that one away. But yeah, you know, like he played well against the Lions in the first game of the season this year. Came out last year and popped the Bears in the mouth. Like was that last year? That was last year, right? Beginning of 2024 when they opened at Soldier Field, or was that
2023? Jordan
Love's dog, man, time is flying. Yeah. Okay, yeah, but I mean, like we've seen it. Like there's been times where it's like, dang, like he came out and then after outside of that, you had all sorts of chaos going on, but they were able to play well in the NFC North. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to learning about who the Packers are and what they're made of here and where they're going to finish in the North. You know, if you win these games, I think you pretty much set yourself up to win the division. But crazier things, right? So I don't know, man. Tell me your thoughts. Like, do we just want to jump into the Vikings, or do you have any thoughts about this 3-game gauntlet?
No, I'm with you. I think it's huge. This is going to tell us a lot about the team. It's not going to make or break their season because they got a bunch of games left after that too. But I mean, if you look at their schedule, it's pretty much division the rest of the way. They have Denver.
I'll say it won't break it, but it could make it.
Yeah, they have Denver on the road. They have Baltimore at home, and other than that, it's all division the rest of the way.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to tell you everything. So yeah, these 3 games, and the first 2 are going to come real quick because they go Sunday and then Thursday for Thanksgiving in Detroit. They're huge. It's like if they go 3-0, then obviously they're the favorites in the division, and we're feeling really damn good. And all this talk, you know, that we've gone through the last few weeks, we can forget about it. You know, and we'll be pretty damn happy, and we'll be thinking about playoff possibilities and who we're going to match up against. You go 0-3, probably coming on here and we're saying playoffs, talking about playoffs. Forget about it.
Fired everybody. Everybody's fired. Right. You're all fired.
If it's somewhere in between, which is probably what it's going to be, that's the most
yeah.
We'll see how they look and how they perform, but it's huge. And starting with the Vikings, you can't look and say, well, they're 4-6. Like, I don't care what the record is. They're a divisional team. And they're a team that beat you twice last year. Start right there.
And they have the best receiver in the league.
Right. They have the best receiver in the league. And that, it's a divisional game. Get up for it. And this doesn't probably mean anything, but it was just something I saw yesterday that I liked when the Packers posted the video in the locker room after the game, and LaFleur brought up, we got a big divisional game next week against the Vikings. Maybe it doesn't mean anything, but he's right there, you just won, but we got the Vikings. Get up for it. It's important. And yeah, these 3 games are a huge stretch. They're going to tell us a lot, I think. The Vikings are 4-6. They've lost 4 out of the last 5, but that one win in there was against the Lions. So they've lost some close games, including to the Bears on Sunday. They're not a team to be. The Packers can't take anyone lightly, but
no.
They're a team that's going to play you tough and going to play you close, and that defense of the Vikings is still really good, and they're a tough matchup because they do so many different things. They're such a unique defense, and then their offense, they have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison's a real nice number two. They got two capable running backs, good tight end. Like they have some weapons there. The place where they're really lacking is that quarterback. For whatever reason, that quarterback can play good in the fourth quarter. It's the other three quarters where he plays like crap. So, whatever, he's only made 5 starts, so it's a little early to judge him. But so far, he don't look good. So that's your one big advantage is how poorly the quarterbacks played in Minnesota. But it's still a tough matchup for the Packers against a really good defense, and they need.
We're not that far removed from getting smoked by Danny DeVito or Tommy DeVito or whatever his name was. You can't take any quarterback lightly.
No, they just lost to Bryce Young 2 weeks ago, right? And
he just threw for like almost 500 yards. I mean, okay. we might not slow the hate on Bryce Young. He might not be as bad as we originally thought.
They lost to 40-year-old Joe Flacco. Like there's, whatever. You lost to this team twice last year. Sam Darnold lit you up in both games, right?
Well, and Sam Darnold's pretty good.
I know he's playing better, but like you have. Like there should be no reason that you're not ready to go for this game.
You can't take it lightly. Yeah, you've got to have.
And it's not even that, but like you need to players need to know how important this one is because it is really important. I know they're behind you in the standings, but there needs to be an extra level for a divisional game this week. The next 3 games are extremely important, but it starts with the Vikings and. Yeah, it's another week for them to hopefully take another I think they took a little bit of a step against the Giants, just getting a win, and there were some areas that they improved in, a lot that they have to get better at. But this is another week for that, and it's a divisional game. They're more important than any other games really, and yeah, it starts now. This is the time to really turn it around and get going and show what you're capable of being.
Yeah, and So this is where I think my argument gets confused by the surface level, Twitterverse fan. This is where I love LaFleur, the head coach. These are the moments I think you want LaFleur, the head coach, because I think he, to your point, right? He goes in the locker room afterwards, says, we got a big division game next week. So great, you won, but time to get down to business. I trust LaFleur to lead guys in that way. To go, hey, all right, now it's down to now. He may not do that when we want him to, and I think they did. Anyway, let's not get into rehashing every game this season and all the different ups and downs. But he's been, especially with division games, he's been able to get things going, and we saw it on Thanksgiving in 2023 when they turned things around against the Lions. You saw it, against the Bears. You've seen these things. And yes, there's been some low moments, but I really trust LaFleur to have these guys motivated and aware of the magnitude of the moment. I guess I don't know that I trust him to have himself prepared for it. I think that's where I lose with LaFleur is I go, dude, all right, so LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, needs to sit down because LaFleur, the head coach, is kicking butt. Don't distract yourself. But so I trust him to have the team kind of aware of this moment and prepared for it. Can he have the offense prepared strategically for each of these tests? Well, that's a different conversation. So hopefully, yes. But that's where I think this frustration stemmed from. But that's ultimately where I always put my foot down and say, you don't want to fire LaFleur. You just want him to get a different offensive coordinator. So I think that's what I hope to learn more after these 3 games is you get to the end of these 3 games, you go, dang, LaFleur turned it around. They had these guys ready. They played well. Maybe you don't blow anybody out, but you win the games and you win them, without flukiness. I don't want to hear any of this, well, you guys, this missed call. I don't want to hear any of that. I want decisive wins. And I think that they're very capable in each of these games of that. I would say, now, so let's drill down in here because, we can't play them all in 1 week. We got 9 coming up. We got 9. The Viking warrior known as 9 coming into Lambeau. And I just think you got to force 9 to beat you. I don't even care what the offense does in this game. I want 9 to be forced to beat us. And I think if you force 9 to beat you, you're going to score points on defense. That's what I think. What do you think, Tim?
I think it's pretty lame when you give yourself a stupid nickname.
I think it's incredibly lame.
Especially when it's your number. Like,
9.
The dude's a joke. He's a joke. And it's only 5 starts, so I don't want to go like overboard and say like this guy stinks. But so far, he don't look good. I've seen him play a couple times. He does not look good. And now, like the week 1, he was terrible for 3 quarters, and then played great in the 4th, and they won the game. And yesterday against the Bears, he drove them down. They scored. They went up, but they lost because of special teams. Like, okay, he does that in the 4th quarter, but it's like the rest of the game, he stinks. And there's this week 2 against the Falcons, he was terrible. Whoever they played, the Ravens game, he didn't play good. Like, he hasn't played good other than like very small stretches, a quarter here, a quarter. Like, he doesn't look good. He's missing open receivers because, geez, Justin Jefferson can get open still. His accuracy.
He's the best receiver in the league.
Yeah, like his accuracy is really poor. He's got a strange problem where he doesn't throw well at all to his left for whatever reason. Apparently that goes back to college, which I didn't even realize that, but people were pointing it out online, like how bad he is when he throws to the left side. But he's missing open dudes. He gets confused. As good a play caller and designer as Kevin O'Connell has been, he hasn't been able to save or improve 9 McCarthy at all so far. So hopefully that continues. You know, he has the weapons. Like he got those receivers, a tight end, Jordan Mason, Aaron
Jones. You can't ask for more weapons.
Like, really can't. And I know like their offensive line has been beat up a lot this year and hasn't played that well, but that was more so like when McCarthy was out and Carson Wentz was getting beaten to a pulp. Like, they've gotten a little better up front with McCarthy, but for first time starting quarterback, like, he's got plenty of weapons around him. He's just not playing good. And I hope it continues for another week. It should continue, but the Packers have to get a pass rush. I think they got to show him some different things to like just confuse him in his head and speed him up, so it screws with his accuracy. Obviously I don't like our cornerbacks on their receivers as the matchup, but like if you're affecting the quarterback, those corners will be fine. And that's where it starts, is get to McCarthy, confuse him, get pressure on him, and let him throw the ball all over the field, out of bounds, bouncing it 10 yards over, like everything we've seen so far. Just let him spray the ball everywhere. You can do that. And then I think for the Packers offense, it's a matter of like, you have to prepare for everything with the Vikings because nobody blitzes more, and I think nobody plays more cover 2 or dropping 8 guys into coverage than the Vikings. Like, they will show you 8 guys at the line of scrimmage and just bring 3, but one of those guys will come free somehow. It gets crazy, and then they'll show you 8 and they'll bring all 8. They're a very unique, crazy kind of defense, and it sucks that it's Minnesota because otherwise they're pretty cool to watch, like the different things they do from a scheme wise.
They're a good defense.
Yeah. And they got a lot of guys that play different positions, and it's hard to identify. So this comes down to like, you got to win on first and second down, because if you're in second and third long, Brian Flores is going to mess with you, and you're going to see all kinds of pressures and different looks, and good luck. So like, Jordan Love's got to know what's coming. Matt LaFleur's got to know what's coming. I go back to 2023 when they played them up in Minnesota, right at the end of the season for a playoff spot, and they picked that defense apart. And I think they can do it again. We didn't see it last year, though, because there were too many turnovers. So Jordan's got to play better. He's got to protect it. He's got to know what's coming, and know the right spots to get the ball, right? Like, it sounds basic, but like, turnovers and his decision-making are going to be so key in this game, because you're going to see a lot of crazy stuff from the Vikings defense. So he's not always going to probably know. He's going to think he's seeing one thing, and after the snap, it's going to be something completely different. You can't force the ball. You can't panic. So, yeah, I think offensively it's like protect the football and win on first and second down, so that maybe like you don't they can't get into some of their special packages because it's second and short and third and short, and you're dictating to them.
Yeah, and I think that's where the offensive lineup is going to be very important for the Packers this week. See who's protecting, because depending on who that is probably determining what you can do, right? And one thing that I called out, and I've been kind of critical of, is, and maybe I'm wrong because I haven't gotten to watch every play, but I haven't seen enough designed rollouts for Jordan Love. I think those designed rollouts can be deadly. They were deadly for Aaron Rodgers. You could not beat him on a designed rollout. And if you are having time or having a hard time protecting the quarterback, that's a good way to do it. You buy yourself some time, you use his athleticism, and then you get, 2 to 3 of your better offensive linemen, maybe more mobile, and you reposition them, right? You let your weak ones go off and you counter that and go away from the weakness. I'd like to see that. Maybe their guys aren't capable of that. I don't know. But that's one thing I'd like to see them doing in response to the unpredictability of the Vikings defense is get some things going where you're giving Jordan Love extra time to make decisions, because I don't think that defense has what it takes to cover all the weapons that the Packers have. I think if the Packers start going downfield on those guys, you're going to see them loosen up a little bit. But will they go downfield on them, in the times that matter and effectively to really strike that fear? That's a question. I don't, hopefully, but that's what I want to see, the running game is obviously one that we know LaFleur is going to try to commit to the running game. How are the Vikings? Where are they out in the grand scheme of things with their run game? Do you know off the top of your head?
I know they weren't very good early in the year. I think it's gotten a little bit better, but they weren't stopping a run like they should have been early.
We'll see where they're at on.
And I just don't like if Jacobs ain't playing, or if he's playing and he's playing, 10 or 12 snaps. I don't like their run game. Like Emmanuel Wilson's okay. Like I know he's done some nice things for them over the last couple of years, but to be starting almost every down back this week against that defense, I don't like that. But you gotta at least keep them honest with the running game, right? But I don't think they're going to get a whole lot out of Wilson this week. If Jacobs is able to go and play near a full workload, then okay, and maybe you can get the running game going.
Well, the Vikings are giving up 127 yards on the ground a game, so there might be an opportunity there. Even Wilson, he's been able to gash some teams. I've enjoyed watching him, but yeah, I think that really this game can be won through Jordan Love, man. Like, let him run the game, let him operate things, take some shots. But if you need to supplement the run game, you're awfully familiar with all these screens and horizontal movements on offense. You can do things that supplement the run game to maybe lessen Josh Jacobs' touches to give him a break if he plays at all. But yeah, if you can get those opportunities, great. But the reason I look at the ground game, and maybe this is just foolish because we haven't seen them do this very much. But again, if you're going to get unpredictability from the defense, you should respond with unpredictability. And being able to run the ball sets up the play action, and that keeps the defense from being able to do a lot of things that they want to do. I see the potential to do that. I haven't seen them do that setup quite as much as I'd like. So who knows if they will or not, but that would be the response, stretch these guys out, stress them out, and don't let them do the things that they want to do on defense. So let's go, man. I'm ready for 9 to come to Lambeau. My eyes are on the defense on this game. I want to watch them force 9 to beat them. Force him into mistakes. He's thrown 8 interceptions, 6 touchdowns. He's got 52% completion percentage. A guy is going to make mistakes. Go get him. Go get him. Turn the dogs loose. Let him, go get him and force him into to losing that game. But all right, man. Let's get into some predictions here. What are you thinking? How is this game going to unfold?
I think it's coming down right to the end. Like, I think this is a last possession deep into the fourth quarter kind of game. It's going to be close all the way. This sounds like so basic, but whoever makes fewer mistakes offensively, like the turnover battle, I think is going to be huge in this game. I mean, it's huge in every game, obviously, but for this one, it like you can't. Jordan Love's decision making and what he does with the football against that unique defense, it's going to determine so much in this game. And our defense hasn't been getting very many takeaways, so you can't count on, even with how bad McCarthy's played, you can't count on getting those. But if they can force a couple and give your offense another couple tries against that defense, I think it would be huge. I think this is going to be a 4-quarter right down to the end. It may come down to a kick. Let's hope not. But it's going to be one of those battles right to the end with these two teams. So, yeah, I think the Packers are the better team, but the way they've played for the last 3 weeks, like they're just not playing that way. But I think, a healthy, fully functioning team, they're the better team. I'm not at the point yet where I can just go and trust them.
Well, are you picking them to lose, Tim? Is that what you're telling me?
I can't pick them to lose against the Vikings.
So a very ugly 1-point win, is that what you're saying?
It could be. Any win, it was not an ugly win in this game.
Fair enough.
I don't care. So, yeah, I think they win, but I think it's gonna be one they have to grind out right to the end.
So where I want to agree with you just because that's the personality of this team. I think the Vikings are going to make that many mistakes. I don't think the Packers are going to win this game as much as the Vikings are going to lose it. And that's not me saying the Packers aren't going to win. I think the Packers are going to win. But they dropped 4 interceptions in the last game. They were in position against the Giants to really capitalize on some mistakes. And I'm not saying that they're going to go off and get 4 or 5 interceptions in this game, but I do think that McCarthy's going to give them some opportunities, and I don't think they're going to miss all of them like they did in the last game. So that's what I think ends up being the difference in the game. I'm going to say the Packers score their sweet spot number of 27 points because Jordan Love is now 27 years old, and that is how old you must be to win a Super Bowl for the Packers. They're going to score 27 points and win the game. And I think that they'll hold the Vikings to, I don't think it'll be like a nice, clean, even. It'll be to 13. They'll hold them 13 points. 27-13.
I'll take that. Yeah.
Some field goals in there, maybe a touchdown.
Touchdown win. Yeah. I'm down for that.
That's where I'm at with it. So, what's going on? My screen froze up on me. But anyway, all right. So that's where we are. If you guys had fun with us tonight, of course, spike that like button. Jump on over to the Packers Talk Network YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. It helps us out quite a bit. We love that. Keeps us talking to you guys every Monday night at 9:30 streaming live. And it costs you nothing, just a few clicks. It's very little effort too. So jump on over there, spread the love, use your clicks wisely. And if you had fun with us tonight, tell a friend about it. Tell them to come hang out with the Pack Weekly Pod. We're just talking Pack, getting into it. Sometimes we debate about things because that's what fans do. And that's why it's fun. But ultimately, we can't wait to watch the Pack just sweep up the Vikings. We're going to sweep them. We're getting the brooms out. We're not talking about just this week. The Vikings are done. They're getting swept up 2-0 this season. And it starts this week with a victory at Lambeau. So enjoy this game. This is what we wait for all year, right? These really intense rivalry games that are all important to making the playoffs. So above all, fans, enjoy. We got to enjoy these moments. We can't let all of our frustrations about the coaching staff and all the imperfections of these teams get in the way of how much we just love watching the Packers play football. So get out there. Love watching the Packers play football this week. Unless they lose, then we won't love that, but we'll talk about it. And we'll be back here next Monday night at 9:30 streaming live to talk about it, and we will solve all the problems because we do every week. And, of course, as always, Packers fans, go Pack.